Hi, this is a quick video about our lactate sensors. So our lactate sensors from Zimmer and Peacock, when we first manufactured these, they came in this format, which is a sort of a component that's 7 millimeters wide and 25 millimeters long. It's 0.625 millimeters deep, so it's a small thing. The lactate enzyme is actually immobilized on the sensor, so you can use them in continuous monitoring mode. So we do have lactate sensors like that. If you're trying to get an inspiration on to how to actually use them, I'd go into our application zone and have a quick look at two videos. One of them is labeled glucose, but don't worry about that. I mean, the fact is, you can run the lactate sensor very similar to that. So in this, watch the video with Andre testing on a glucose sensor, and I would also watch a video on testing a uric acid sensor, because he runs experiment in a slightly different way in this one, where he actually has the sensor sitting in a beaker, and he tests it in a different way. So we sell these lactate sensors, and these two videos. In those two videos, Andre shows you how to test a glucose sensor and a uric acid sensor, but the kind of lessons you can learn from those two videos, you can apply them exactly to the uric acid sensor. And if you're looking for potentiostats he's using, it's on our website. It's called the Anapot, and you might need a cable. Under accessories, sensor adapters and connectors, sensor cable, and it will be this one here. Right, so that's a lactate sensor, a cable, and an Anapot, and a couple of videos that you should watch. One is titled up measuring glucose, and one is titled up measuring uric acid, but they're those two sensors are so similar to the lactate sensor, you can kind of learn a lot from watching those two videos. Now, the other format that the lactate sensors come in is this wearable format. So if you go to our wearables page, I would recommend anyone in their R&D phase, if you're working with a lactate sensor, you have this dual mode Easy Flex. Because the dual mode allows you to connect the lactate sensor to the back side of here, and you can also have that front side functionalized into being a lactate sensor as well. The reason we have this dual mode is because if that was a lactate sensor, it's very integrated into the electronics, and of course if something goes wrong with the sensor, you don't want to just lose all the electronics. So what we actually recommend is you actually plug the lactate sensor in and out the back here, and that means you can replace the sensor and not sort of lose all your electronics. There's a lot of support material on the website, so I would really recommend having a really good look at that. There's even software you can download in order to run this sensor. If you're wondering about the size of it, this video will just give you a quick sense of that. So it's quite a small little piece. So that's one way of wearing a lactate sensor. We also provide a lactate sensor in a microneedle format. So effectively, these microneedles are meant to penetrate the skin, and we can functionalize them with the lactate enzyme, and then it becomes a transdermal lactate sensor. So it's worth having a look at that. And then finally, we also can do the lactate sensors in a wire format. These are not you can't just buy these and use these on human subjects. In the video, we've taken a very special precaution in terms of sterilization, etc., so that you cannot just buy them off the web store and do this experiment. But actually, you can see that this kind of lactate sensor is in a wire format, and it's transdermal. It can go through the skin, and you can measure the lactate that way. So we have a lot of lactate sensors, and in fact it's even worth mentioning that at Zimmer and Peacock we have liquid solutions, and we have Yeah, we also have a solution for activating. So if somebody wants to make their own lactate sensor, we do have those activation solutions as well, so people can make their own lactate sensor. So at Zimmer and Peacock, we have lactate sensors. Some of them are on a material called ceramic. We also make lactate sensors on microneedles, and we also make lactate sensors on wires. And if somebody is so motivated that they want to make their own lactate sensor, but they don't know how the formulations, then you can also buy the formulations off us as well. So I hope that helps answer the questions. So what lactate sensors are available from Zimmer and Peacock. Okay, thanks very much.